Welcome back. Spring is basically here, which means it's time for people who are thinking about selling their homes to get busy and get them put on the market. Joining us today, we have Tracy Moffett, as always, from Royal LePage Westwin. Thanks for being here.
You're welcome. How are you?
I'm well, thank you.
Good.
We also have one of your loyal clients joining us on the show, Lydia O'Brien. You've been with Tracy throughout 2 or 3 house sales over the last decade.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Good.
The decade, that makes it sound like a long time.
It does. But decades go by quickly, don't they?
Yeah,
truly.
they do.
Anyway, so in talking about this being the time to get houses on the market and getting organized, there's a lot of things people need to consider.
Yeah, exactly. This is the perfect time to, if you're thinking about getting your house on the market, to get those little projects finished, because we're at the beginning of the spring market. So I thought it would be a good idea to bring Lydia along. She's on her 3rd house now that, well, I shouldn't say she, her and her husband. He's put a lot of work into these houses too. She's done quite a few renos and stuff like that. So I thought she'd be a perfect person to give, you know, some tips and some, you know, hands-on advice as to what they found was successful and maybe some stuff that wasn't so successful.
So the backstory on you, Lydia, is that, and we were just talking about this in the break, but essentially Lydia allowed her husband to choose the first house, thinking it won't be a big deal, there won't be a lot of renovations. How did that go?
It was completely gutted except for one wall. It was a little fixer-upper, and it was a little house and completely renovated.
So this was 10 years ago, and then from there you've forced yourself into becoming handier and figuring out how to do fixer-uppers.
Yeah, he cut his teeth on it on the first house, and we've just kind of gone on there from there.
Good for you.
Definitely.
3 houses later, and you've got a few tips to share with us.
Yeah, she definitely, like her first house, she didn't mention her husband was the one that that chose the house, along with, you know, my help. And when she came, she cried. Poor Lydia. Now it's a process that they do together, of course, but she was back in Ontario at that time. But good learning experience.
Okay. We have some before and after pictures. Before we get to those, though, I thought we would talk a little bit about some of your best advice when it comes to how to be handy with making changes that don't have to cost a lot of money.
When we've put our houses up for sale with Tracy, we've always done things like painting the front door, getting your front looking nice and clean.
Curb appeal?
Absolutely. Bark mulch is huge, makes it look neat and tidy when you're coming up. Modern numbers, take off the 1970s numbers off your door. It just looks awful.
Right.
Get rid of your brass fixtures. That's $1,000 right there. You just don't want to pay when you're looking at a new house. And it doesn't cost that much, absolutely. It's like maybe $50 for a new fixture. That's it.
Yeah.
So the cheap and cheerfuls. Just doing the little things that you can do.
Knobs, change your knobs in your kitchen. Paint the old cabinets out. It's really easy, really cheap to do.
And it makes a huge impact too when you're looking at, you know, you may have these yellow oak wood doors, and I know a lot of people hate to paint wood, especially when it's a solid oak door, but it makes a huge impact. Like when you, and it's just paint. It's something that's inexpensive, and it's definitely going to add to the value of your home when you go to resell it.
All right, we have some pictures. These are from the most recent house that you purchased, if that's right.
Yeah.
And so this is a before, Lydia. Before we go to the next picture, maybe tell me what about this you didn't like to start.
The trees were massive and overgrown. There was overgrown shrubs. And I think probably one of the worst parts was that the flower beds were all rock. So there was nothing to spark up the house at all. It just didn't have any curb appeal.
No color.
And the
no
tree
color.
Really
it was very drab.
The tree hides
it made the inside of the house very dark.
Right.
And I told Tracy I didn't want this house at all.
But then...
And the thing with trees too, I mean, it fills up the gutters, and it can bring insects and bugs and all of that sort of stuff.
What a difference to move the tree out of the way. You can see that the gardens have been redone.
Yeah. Started removing, it took me about a week to remove all of the rock, and then to get the ground all ready. And then my mother-in-law and I just started planting. I painted the front door, got some pots in there, kind of got things a little organized, and then just started trying to get things to grow.
And then you add a few flowers in the mix, and
and that's
lovely.
just in one season?
That was by July.
So the same year.
Same year.
That's very impressive.
Yeah.
We move inside now. This bedroom, basically the way you found it when you bought it?
Yes. It was just builder's beige.
Yeah.
And there was
beige.
nothing to it at all.
So then move on. Okay, so huge transformation. This is obviously, whose room is this?
My daughter's. And her own artwork on the walls, and it just was a week of elbow grease with my mother-in-law and my husband, and we did 2 girls' rooms in the same week, and it was just paint.
And you know, paint is such a fast and easy transformation. I'm a firm believer in that. I put a few square miles on a few houses in my day as well, and it's just such a cheap and cheerful way to change the...
But even like the character touches of her daughter's paintings.
Absolutely.
You know, to add to that room.
Personal touch.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're looking at the living room now, and this is how you found it when you bought it.
Yes.
What did you not like about it before we go to the change?
I'm very modern eclectic, so this was a little bit too classic for me.
Okay.
So it had crown molding, small crown molding. It had wood applique on the fireplace, and it just was quite dark, especially because of the trees outside.
Right. So then we fast forward into a quick transformation. I see there's some more color on the walls. What else has changed?
And it's funny that you say that because almost all my walls in my house are white, except for one main wall in each of the rooms. But it with different colors on your walls, like different paintings, putting them lower so that you can see them makes a huge difference. And all of a sudden it's a colorful room.
What a huge difference. And so you did this because you bought the house, you love it, you're staying in it. But to turn it around for somebody who wants to get their house ready for market, these are the little things that you can do to, you know, make it more appealing to the buyer.
Yeah,
definitely.
absolutely.
It's going to definitely help your house sell quicker, and definitely for top dollar, because it's something that people can walk into. They don't have to do anything essentially to it, unless of course, you know, maybe they come in and they didn't like the yellow feature wall, but like Lydia was saying, she just used a punch of color just on that one wall. So it would be easy to change if somebody came in and didn't want to see it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Excellent. Excellent. Thank you for coming in today to share with us.
Thank you.
And you're enjoying your home now?
It's getting there.
Yeah?
It's getting there.
Good.
Got some randos coming up this spring.
Good
so.
for you. There's
Yeah.
always something to do, isn't there?
Yeah.
Truly.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much. I think we're just about out of time. Anything else you want to add, Tracy?
We had our stats come out in February. We had a really strong February. We were up 23%, which is, I know, crazy good. So a little too early to tell if this is going to be a trend for the year. Keeping my fingers crossed that it might be. But it was a great encouraging sign for the beginning part of the market. So we'll hope that, you know, things will continue to move strong.
Yeah. Hopefully an indication that it might be a very busy spring as well.
Yeah, definitely.
Right.
Get your paintbrush out and
exactly
keep the sales coming.
Get things going. All right. Information on the screen if you'd like to get a hold of Tracy, tracymoffett.com, her phone number as well. We are back talking about a TRU job fair taking place on March the 5th. Stay with us.